Welcome everyone to Draft Day. MLB Draft Day to be exact, not one of the more headline drafts. Usually people know about the NFL Draft and the NBA Draft, like where we've seen some amazing prospects such as LeBron James and Peyton Manning go number one overall, but we don't really talk about players in the MLB who go number one overall. And the Tigers are hoping to change that today as they have the very first pick in the Major League Draft. So let's look at scouting for a little bit. I'm far from a scouting expert in this game. I did a little bit of it. Most of it I just put on auto. But this is all the players who are scouted for the Tigers. The first player I drafted in the White Sox series was catcher Timothy Griffin, and he's now a 90 overall. So, yeah. I've done some drafts off camera with the Tigers simply because they had the first pick. Not on this save file, but on other ones. So I'm not cheating. Every time with the first pick, I've gotten an A potential. So we should get an A potential in someone who will transform this franchise. So looking at this team's needs, farm system wise, they're great at pitcher. Franklin Perez and Alex Faedo are top 50 prospects. And so is Bo Burrows and Matt Manning. So four starting pitchers are in the top 50 prospects. So that shows that pitching isn't much of a need. And they have Michael Fulmer. But the bats are no real prospect to catch. I mean, I guess Jake Rogers is. First base, Bobby Bradley. Second base, no one. Third base, maybe Jeimer Caldonero, maybe Nolan Jones. Shortstop, maybe Yu-Chen Chang. Outfield, absolutely no one except for potentially Daz Cameron, potentially Victor Reyes, potentially Jacoby Jones, but kind of unlikely with them. So not all those prospects are going to hit, and some of them will hit. Tigers are certainly going to get some prospects who end up hitting. Not just hitting the bat, but being successful. So let's get right to it. The 2018 first-year player draft is underway. And why does it say Greg Bird leads the All-Star voting for catchers? He's not even a catcher. Well, let's take a look at who the Tigers will be selecting. The Tigers may be going for a reach, but this is a player they've been eyeing all along. Alejandro Alonso from Puerto Rico. He's just 18 years old. He can play left field, which is pretty huge for the Tigers, as they just need anything in that outfield. He looks like he has potential to be a great bat, especially contact-wise. Power-wise, he could become something, too. He already has above-average contact. He has average to above-average power, and he looks like he could be a very good defensive player, too. So that's who the Tigers are taking their first pick, Alejandro Alonso. Let's see if he will become anything insane for Detroit. With their second pick, they're going to be taking a definitely project, someone who won't be up in the majors for a little bit. Catcher Ronald Lorang. He's very raw, but he has all the potential in the world to be a great player. He's probably going to start no higher than Double-A for his minor league career. The Tigers have plenty of pitchers, but it doesn't hurt to get more. So they're going to be taking Marco Mejia from California, just 21 years old. He looks like he could become a very good player for Detroit. They have plenty of pitchers, Fulmer and their prospects, but if someone doesn't pan out, they could always go to the bullpen or be traded. The Tigers' bullpen is currently atrocious. Shane Green, Justin Wilson, they're playing well, but farm system-wise, they have no players who can make an impact in their future. So the Tigers are certainly going to be spending some of their next few picks on bullpen help, and they'll be starting with taking the southpaw Darrell Hayes from New York. He has potential, and he's someone who could be up in the majors pretty soon. He has a cutter, changeup, slider, and splitter. It would be nice if he had a fastball, but he has a bunch of off-speed pitches, which certainly aren't bad. The Tigers will be continuing their bullpen expedition by taking Andres Guzman. He is raw, but he's 19. He also has 4 pitches, 2-seam fastball, sinker, changeup, and curveball. He's raw, but he has a lot of potential, and there's nothing wrong with taking risks, especially if your bullpen's as bad as the Tigers. With the Tigers' final pick, they're going to be taking another raw player, and that is Domingo Cabrera, a left fielder. He can't really play anywhere else in the outfield, which is a little concerning, but the Tigers can probably train him how to do that. He's very raw, but he has potential to become a talented player in the future. We will look at all 30 teams' draft classes, starting with the Royals and ending with the Tigers. So with the Royals' first pick, they took pitcher Nelson Batista. He looks like he could become a very good player in the future. The Royals look like they had an excellent draft. They got Miguel Chavez and Lauren Waters, who have potential, as well as Robbie Morans. All three of them have potential, and obviously Batista to become great players. The Twins, with their first pick, they goofed. Emil Pedroza, he's probably going to be a bust, but they did kind of make up for it by taking Buster Rosado in the second round. The Angels taking Adam Isaac, 99 potential from Canada, the closer. He's going to be one of the best relievers in baseball in no time. And James Cope looks like an okay prospect too. The A's took Jason Erasmus with their first pick. He looks like someone who's going to be known for his speed, as well as Kyle Ullman in the second round. He looks like he has potential to be a good player. The Mariners took Miguel Portolio, probably butchered that, from Venezuela. He has a chance to be good. Kenny Floyd, that is a nice mustache, damn. But Kenny Floyd, good contact, pretty fast. Bobby Stokes as well has a chance to be decent. For Rangers took Booker Werner, a starting pitcher from Illinois. He looks like a good player. Peter Hauser doesn't look too bad himself. The Astros, not too exciting. Clay McCauley looks okay. The Braves took Juan Fernandez. He looks like he's going to be a project, but he certainly has a chance. Manny Mendoza looks solid. So does Merly Suarez. The Marlins took Nick Barron. As the Marlins, they suck, so they just need anything. And Nick Barron very well could be their building piece to sort of replace what Jose Fernandez was going to be. R.I.P. Jose. And they also got Wesley McClendon, Francisco Ibar, and Steve Cordona. So it looks like they're going after pitchers, and pitchers they got. The Nationals, they took Luke Covey. He looks like he could be someone who could be in the rotation pretty soon. The Mets took Garrett Trent. He has potential to be one of the best relievers in the major league if he's as good as his potential says. The Phillies took Pablo Crespo, a catcher who can pretty much play anywhere except for second base and center field, so he has the utility and he has potential. Bobby Davidod, a player who the Tigers were considering. He probably would have been a good pick because he's 71 overall. He can hit, he can field, and he can play numerous positions. The Cubs took Joseph Ball. He looks okay, but not a great draft class for the Cubs. The Reds, they took Caden Griffiths. He looks like he has a chance to be great. Anthony Nevar, he's probably a project. The Brewers took Enrique Aparicio, and he looks like someone who could be good right away. And Darren Davis in the second round. Nice beard and even better potential at 93. Well, the beard is probably like at least a 96, 97 overall. The Pirates took Jesus Encarnacion from Alabama. That does not seem like a very Alabamian name, but okay. The Cardinals took Rick Smith, who has 99 potential. He's someone who could be a superstar in this league and a player that we have to watch out for. The Diamondbacks took first baseman Sherwood Reeves. He looks like he has a pretty good bat and a pretty good glove as well. He's someone who could be a great player for them. They also took Ken Madden, who looks good himself. Rockies, not too exciting. Louis Javery looks nah. The Dodgers look like they had a good draft class. Tommy Threy in the first round looks talented. Henry Valentin in the second round. He has a lot of potential to be joining that great young outfield with players like Yasiel Puig, Chris Taylor, Cody Bellinger, even though, Cody Bellinger can play in the outfield. He can play left field. He is primarily a first baseman, but he can play in the outfield. That's why I mentioned him. Ricky Edwards looks solid too. The Padres took catcher Isaiah Sower, and he looks like he has a lot of potential to become a great player. So does Forrest Carniff, who could be in the major leagues pretty soon. The Giants, with the second overall pick, took closer Luis Aguilar. There were better relievers, but he looks like a great player himself. He's probably the most MLB ready out of those receivers that we talked about. The one from the Angels, and there is another one. Greg Stevenson. He looks like an okay player. The Orioles took Ramon Soto, 97 potential. He's very raw, but has very good potential. Riley Pringle, he looks pretty good too. I wonder if he eats a lot of Pringles. The Red Sox, not great. They kind of goofed on their first pick. Brad Livingston, and Freddie Villa could become good players in their rotation. The Yankees took Enrique Nunez. He's a player who could be in the majors in a year or two and has potential to be a great player to join Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton in that power-hitting outfield, and his power does look pretty good. The Rays took Reed Quezada, I don't know how to say that, 98 potential. I shouldn't say he might be a great player, he will be a great player. The Blue Jays took Martin Cruz with their first pick. He's a project, but he's a good project. He looks like a great player, potentially. The White Sox took Willie Alonso, a player who could be in the majors in a year or two and has great potential. Cesar Diaz has some nice potential. The Indians, they look like they had a better draft late than they did early. Chuck Young has a chance to be very solid. And Carson Hecht, 95 potential. And last but not least, we'll take a look at our Detroit Tigers. Alejandro Alonso, 94 potential. Could be in the majors as soon as probably 2020, maybe even a little earlier, if he has a very good first year in the minors. In the second round, Ronald Lorraine, I said he'd probably be a project, and it certainly looks like it. In the third round, they took Marco Mejia. He has 90 potential. Daryl Hayes, nah. Andres Guzman, he's probably a project. And Domingo Cabrera, he's a bust. So, the Tigers, they had a solid draft class. Wasn't great, but Alejandro Alonso has a chance to be revolutionary for this team. The Tigers have signed all of their draft picks, so here's a look at them in their Tigers uniforms, looking great. All of these guys have potential, except for maybe Domingo Cabrera, to become great players in this organization.